Long before the Roman Empire reached its peak, there was a man whose name alone inspired fear in Rome's enemies and pride in its citizens. Germanicus, a brilliant general, a man adored by the armies, loved by the Roman people, and celebrated as the future of Rome itself. But behind the cheers and glory, a silent war was taking shape inside the imperial family, a political rivalry so powerful that it would ultimately destroy everything Germanicus fought to build. This is not just a story about a Roman war. It is about loyalty that turned into jealousy, a family feud that became deadly, and a tragedy that changed the direction of the empire forever. To understand Germanicus, you must understand the moment the world first realized. He was not just a soldier. He was a legend in the making. In Germania, he led Rome to victories that the empire had been chasing for years. Rome had been humiliated in the Teutoburg forest, 3 legions wiped out. Germanicus did what others failed to do. He restored the pride of Rome, crushed the fear of the Germanic tribes, and returned with an army that worshipped him. In Rome, he was received like a hero. Statues were built, coins were minted, songs were sung. The people wanted one thing: Germanicus as the future emperor. But in the palace, applause turned into fear, because power in Rome was never freely handed over. It was fought over, usually in public, and always in secret. At the center of that storm was Emperor Tiberius, Germanicus' adoptive father. The Senate respected Tiberius, but they loved Germanicus. The military obeyed Tiberius, but they adored Germanicus. The citizens accepted Tiberius, but they celebrated Germanicus. And loyalty that strong can shake a throne. The first sign of conflict appeared quietly. Germanicus returned victorious, but instead of being positioned beside the emperor, he was sent far from Rome, to the eastern provinces, where political unrest had become a threat. Tiberius claimed it was a mission of honor, but many in Rome believed it was a way to keep Germanicus out of the public eye. A hero too close to the throne was dangerous. This journey to the east would become the turning point of his life. And his death, Germanicus took the command with grace. He strengthened alliances, restored peace in Armenia, secured new loyalties for Rome, and charmed every city he entered. While Rome saw progress, one man saw danger: Gnaeus Calpurnius Piso, the governor of Syria. Piso had been sent by Tiberius, and he acted as if he was above the law. He publicly challenged Germanicus' authority, reversed his orders, bribed officers, and gathered his own loyalists inside the legions. Provinces where Germanicus worked hard to build order became provinces that Piso worked hard to divide. This was no coincidence. It was a chess match, and Germanicus and Piso were pieces, being moved by someone far more powerful. Germanicus wanted peace. Piso wanted provocation, and Syria became the battlefield. The tension exploded at a banquet, where Piso humiliated Germanicus in front of foreign rulers and Roman officials. The message was clear. Piso did not fear him, and he did not respect him. Roman history had seen wars begin with less. Shortly after, something strange happened. Germanicus became sick, very sick. At first, it seemed like a fever, but then came the signs everyone feared: blackened skin, sudden weakness, fainting, severe pain. Germanicus knew Roman politics too well. He immediately suspected poisoning, and he knew who would benefit most from his death: Piso. Germanicus announced publicly that he did not trust Piso, and he renounced their friendship. Piso left Syria instantly, not in shame, but in fear. Germanicus grew worse. Even on his deathbed, he was thinking of the people he swore to protect, and of the enemies he feared were still near. Surrounded by his wife Agrippina and loyal soldiers, he said the words that would haunt Rome for generations: "Tell my children that I did not deserve this, and make sure justice finds those responsible." Germanicus died shortly after. Across the empire, the news hit like a thunderclap. Cities mourned, soldiers wept, citizens rioted. Statues of Germanicus were covered in flowers, and markets shut down in grief. No Roman of his generation had ever been loved like him. The rumor spread faster than the official news. Germanicus had not died of illness. Germanicus had been murdered, and the main suspect was the same man who had challenged him at every turn: Piso. Agrippina, furious with grief, sailed home to Rome with Germanicus' ashes, determined to expose his killers. When the ship docked, thousands of Romans waited in silence. Even emperors before had not drawn such crowds. But instead of Tiberius welcoming the widow of his son, the emperor stayed home. The people noticed, and Rome began to talk. If Piso acted under Tiberius' orders, then the emperor himself might be responsible. Tiberius could feel the hatred rising. To protect the image of the throne, the emperor allowed the one thing that could either prove his innocence or destroy him completely: a public trial. Piso returned to Rome believing he was safe. But Rome was no longer proud, calm, or rational. Rome was an angry beast. Statues of Piso were torn down. Roman citizens flooded the streets screaming for his death. Piso defended himself. He argued he had not poisoned Germanicus and was only following orders as governor. But no one listened. Every sign, every rumor, every whisper pointed at conspiracy. The pressure became unbearable. One night before the final session of the trial, Piso was found dead. Officially, he had taken his own life. Unofficially, Rome believed he was silenced. The trial ended, but the mystery did not. Agrippina swore that justice had not been served. The Senate wanted to know if Piso had acted alone, and the citizens wanted someone bigger to blame. The emperor remained silent, but silence only strengthened suspicion. The death of Germanicus created a crack inside the imperial family that would never heal. The empire became divided between those loyal to Tiberius and those loyal to the memory of Germanicus. From that moment forward, every political decision, every appointment, every military command became a question of loyalty to the emperor or to the legacy of the man Rome truly loved. Germanicus' oldest sons Nero, Drusus, and Caligula would grow up remembering how their father died. And the day would come when one of them would rise to power not with forgiveness, but with vengeance. What began as a family rivalry became a chain reaction that shaped the next decades of Roman rule. And every historian who studies the empire still asks the same question today: was Germanicus a victim of fate, or was he a victim of power? A hero too loved to be allowed to live? If you've reached this part of the video, you're the kind of viewer who loves deep, dramatic true history, not the sugar-coated version. So before you go, please take 1 second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next story. And now for the engagement question. Who do you think was truly responsible for the death of Germanicus, Piso, Tiberius, or someone else operating in the shadows? Comment your theory below. I read every comment.